friends, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you're new to my channel, hey, welcome. I hope you consider subscribing, especially when I tell you that my voice does not usually sound like a frog, isn't it? But it really has a lot recently. But anyway, if you're back, welcome back. Today I am here with a WIP and Chat to do with all of you, and what that is WIP stands for work in progress. That just means that you can pull out a project to work alongside me while I'm working on my project. And chat just means that we're going to chat and catch up a little bit. So feel free to wait for it, whip out your WIP, and let's catch up a little bit about the past week or so. So I hope you guys are doing really well. There are a couple of things that are a little bit different from my usual setup that you may or may not necessarily be able to tell. So I'm actually filming this week's video upstairs in our bedroom because Adam is gaming downstairs with a friend, and so they are chatting away. I figured that you guys would appreciate a lack of background noise. I know that I prefer a little bit more quiet when I'm trying to wind down and hang out a little bit. So I've done this a couple of times before. It's been a little while, but I thought, I totally can make this work. I'll rig a setup up as I'm sitting on my bed right now with like my diamond painting on a lap desk. It's actually pretty comfortable. So the only kicker is that I can't really imagine trying to set up here with a really large diamond painting. So speaking of diamond paintings and what I'm working on, today I'm actually starting, you guys are going to start a new kit with me today. This kit is titled Fox Bliss. This is from Diamond Dots. This is one of my rainy day kits. It's a partial, so like this whole background has already been painted and whatnot, and the only drilling area is going to be the actual foxes themselves. If you've heard me talk about rainy day kits before, then you'll know, you probably have a guess why this one is one. If you're not sure what I mean when I say rainy day kit, it's just a phrase that I coined to come up with describing kits that I have an attachment to, a fondness for any number of different reasons. Kits that I just have tucked away in my stash for a rainy day that I don't pull out lightly. And there were a number of reasons that I ended up pulling out this one today, but I just was in the mood to like not just leave things on hold. I thought, let me pull out one of my rainy day kits, and this one, like I said, was perfect for a number of different reasons. And I'm so curious to hear, do you have kits like that? Whether or not you've heard me talk about rainy day kits before, do you have kits that you you save for days that you feel like you need a pick-me-up? Or it's a kit, maybe it was a kit that was your unicorn, and when you finally tracked it down, you just want to save and savor it for a little while. I have a number of kits like that as well. I guess I'm one for a delayed gratification or something, but it also just means that like now that I've probably had this kit for a year, if not longer, and it's like now that I'm sitting down to work on it, there's just, I feel like going to be this really special enjoyment of it. Like I feel like I've savored it enough that now that I'm actually working on it, it's just going to feel that much more special, I guess is the word for it. But I mean, I'm also very much a weirdo, so you might be going, okay, Katie, that's no, you are not like that. And that's totally fine. But ooh, let me just go ahead and smack the camera for you guys. I'm used to being able to flail apparently. So I'm keeping it really simple as far as tools go tonight. So I've got this pen is from Lazy River Wood Turning, and I know my lighting is also not going to be ideal. I have a feeling you guys will forgive me. I'll try to fix it in post, as they say. But I thought the colors in this were just so perfect for this kit because it's got like some golds and oranges in it, and then some pinks and purples for like that background. It has kind of that watercolor effect. I'll be using Not Your Mama's Mud and Scented Putty from Randa's Crafty Corner. I use this in my multi-placer, and the Not Your Mama's Mud in my single placer. And then a pair of sparkly gold tweezers. I was going through some of my old toolkits and cleaning out, and I was like, why are these not my standard tweezers? These come in the Mary's Diamonds kit. They're so pretty. And then I thought, how perfect is this particular minder for this kit? Like, oh my gosh. I will have to go back and double check where I got this minder from. I'll be sure to link to that shop. I feel so bad that I cannot remember where I got this from. Was it the Creative Palace? It might have been, I think the Creative Palace backings are usually different. I will look it up. Please take a look below, though. Go check out some small shops. The tray is Muni made because of course it is, and it's pink. So let me grab a color. I'm also, just for sake of ease, I'm using my Harbor Freights, which I very rarely pull out. But this kit has 23 colors, and there's 24 Harbor Freight containers. Also, I'm in a place in my life where I loathe kitting down, and so I have a little bit of that. This is how this WIP and Chat's gonna go. Lots of mixed up words as per usual. I have a lot of Elizabeth Ward containers that are being held hostage by kits that I need to kit down still, but I dread it and I'm putting it off. So by using Harbor Freights, it means I can avoid kitting down for a little longer. Oh man. Okay, so partials can be a little bit trickier to work on. I'm not going to try to grid this off. I'm going to be a little more free-handed with it, but I think this is definitely one of those instances where having my minder handy is going to be helpful. So let's try, we'll start just down here in this area and we'll see. I need some practice. I'm very much the kind of person that sections my canvas off with washi tape to the point of being a little bit neurotic about it. I will literally use a ruler to measure off my sections so that it's an even number and divides into relatively equal sections throughout the course of the whole painting. So anyway, you guys, sometimes I'm like really ridiculously neurotic about things, and sometimes I am like the most go with the flow, don't put me in a box kind of person ever. By the way, if you notice that there's a dryer sheet in here. There's a dryer sheet in every single one of these containers because Diamond Dots is consistent about one thing. It is that their diamonds are staticky as all get out. They're ridiculously shiny and sparkly, but the static, you guys should have seen me kidding up earlier. There were literally drills just coating my fingers. They did not want to come off of my fingers and into the containers. They're just stuck. It was from static. And then when I tried to pour them from the bags into the containers, they were just popping and flying across the room. They hit my kid. No, it was just utterly ridiculous. And I was just like, this is Diamond Dots. Come on. I'm going to need you to get this under control. But yes, if you just cut up a piece of dryer sheet, it actually was so frustrating that I was literally like cutting off the top of the plastic. It was like heat sealed bags. I cut off the plastic on one edge and stuffed a dryer sheet in there and tried to like fold over the edge, and then like shook up this like already cut but like kind of folded over plastic bag with a dryer sheet in it just to try to get some of the static under control so that I could even get the diamonds to come out and into the containers. So, but I survived somehow I survived. So, this kit has been one of my rainy day kits for a long time because the art style is very, very, very much me. I adore the pink watercolor background with my entire heart. And I love foxes so much. My oldest, Connor, he's 6 now. When he was a baby, we did his whole nursery and all of his baby stuff in fox themed things. And so I look at this as like, this has like a mama fox with like her baby fox. I'm like, oh, it's me and Connor. I'll have to find something to do with Micah that'll also be sweet. I haven't found like the perfect thing for him yet. We did all of his stuff like in space, like outer space themed. But I feel like a more appropriate, like, mica honoring diamond painting would be something with like a tornado. Because Micah is I say he's our tiny tornado, but he's only tiny in that, like, in comparison to an actual size of a tornado, he's smaller. He's a big kid, but he's just a cyclone of destruction. He's also, like, ridiculously sweet, and I adore him with my whole heart. But anyway, that's kind of one of the reasons this was a rainy day kit, because I was like, this is, I don't know, it's special to me because it reminds me of Connor, and I love the colors in it, and I love foxes. So yeah, I'm glad to be working on it though. And I haven't worked on a partial in quite some time. I did some at the end of last year, but they were technically like special drill kits. I don't know, have I ever done a partial kit that was just all regular drills like this? I might not have. Anyway, I also was in the mood to work on like another kit from a company that I haven't like worked on in a while, and diamond dots just kind of fit the bill. Also, just with the way that the timing worked out as well. So I finished up Valentine Kitty today. Today's Sunday, February 27th. And March 1st kicks off a couple of events that I know that I'm going to be participating in. So Randy and Shay are hosting the Mermaids and Magic event. They both have YouTube channels. I will be sure to link to both of their announcement videos. They're also really incredible ladies, and even if you're not particularly interested in participating in their event, I would really, really love for you to go and check them out, because they make really fun and helpful and wonderful content as well. That's You Can Call Me Butter and Crafting with Shay. And then I'm sure you guys hear me mention her a lot because she's a good friend, and another person whose content I adore is Lindsay at Emeralds and Fairy Lights. She's hosting the Emeraldalong for the month of March. So I thought, I don't really want to start another large kit right now. Particularly, like, I think that I have to double check. Is this terrible? I haven't watched their event videos. I'm sorry, girls. I'll watch it before I even put this up, I promise. Hold on one second. Let me grab this color. We needed the check mark, which is number 5. I assume that the kits need to be new starts. They might not have to be. I don't know. Maybe it's also me. Like, I like the idea of a fresh start for an event. Anyway, so I was like, I don't really want to start another like larger kit because I'm going to be eager to dive into the events when they start. I'm not planning to participate for prizes. Like, I'm not going to enter for any of the prizes. I just want to participate in the events, like, in support of my friends, and because these are themes that I totally dig. Especially because, like, the Mermaids and Magic, like, the and magic part includes dragons. So I was like, how can I not participate in this event? Like, in any given month, I feel like I work on a kit that has dragons in it. I say that, and then I look back at the month of February and go, no, none of the kits I worked on in February had that's a lie. Okay, my Hade, my Heaven and Earth Designs cross-stitch conversion. If you guys are keeping up with, like, how my train of thought is changing stations at a very rapid rate, I am impressed by you. Thanks for sticking it out. Okay, so I started to say, like, I'm always working on a kit with dragons in it, then realized, what kits did I complete in February? None of them had dragons in them, but I do have my long-term project of my Hade Heaven Earth Designs cross-stitch conversion going. Did not get very much love at all this past month, and I know, by the way, that many of you were probably screeching at the screen when I'm talking about, like, I didn't want to have to start a new project. I heard you all saying, why didn't you just work on the Hade? Why didn't you just work on the cross-stitch conversion? Well, short answer was because of this WIP and Chat. I knew that I was going to be filming here upstairs, and I just wasn't able to wrap my brain around how I would set up for working on the hate up here. The canvas is larger and it's double-sided adhesive, so it's a little less forgiving. I have 2 trays of drills for that kit. I was going to need to have a spot to have my Kindle out so that I could be reading the chart. And I also thought, I lose my train of thought as it is frequently when I'm filming a WIP and Chat. How well am I going to be able to keep up with my train of thought if I am trying to read a cross-stitch chart at the same time? I will give it a try one of these days, but I just thought it's already going to be complicated enough to film this WIP and Chat. Let's not add another factor. So here we are. I do have a kit coming in from Diamond Art Club. It's currently estimated to arrive this upcoming Wednesday. It's actually going to be my sneak peek for next week. And it's a piece that I'm really, really, really thrilled about. I can't share spoilers. I'm sorry. But I will say that it works for both of the events that are happening. And so my thought is that when that kit gets here on Wednesday, maybe Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, I'll film ahead my sneak peek. It'll be like over a week ahead, which is fine. I'll film ahead like the actual unboxing sneak peek, and then I'll work on it. And then, much like I did with the kit Treasure Quest from Randall Spangler back in the fall, I will film just a little clip to add in there at the end of that sneak peek video. I'll film a clip on like Thursday before, like a week later after the video actually goes live. Or sorry, like the day before the video is supposed to go live. I'll film a clip that has just a bit of my progress on that kit so that everyone can, if you're curious to see what the kit will look like with some diamonds down, then I can share that with you. I really loved doing that for the Randall Spangler, and I actually had heard back a lot of really wonderful things from people that liked that a lot. So I thought, when the timing works out, when it's a kit that I really want to work on and stuff like that, I'll try to do that again. But I can't promise I'm going to do it every time. But yeah, I like that the timing should work out for that kit coming in early. Obviously, I won't be posting like my official start pictures and stuff, I suppose. That's kind of a bummer, but that's okay. Yay. So, okay, glue. Anyway, are you guys planning on participating in any events in the month of March? I think that there is a chuck-along happening, but I honestly have had to come to terms with that I just am really not much of a landscape person. Yeah. So I can probably do like 1 or 2 landscapes a year, and I'm really not feeling doing one right now, so I won't be participating in that, but definitely excited for Mermaids and Magic and the Emeraldalong. Speaking of events, if you guys didn't watch my unboxing that went up, so for you it will have been yesterday, for me it's this morning, my unboxing from Diamond Painting Shop with an E of that Old Masters kit. I'd love for you to go and check it out. Because we are still needing to nail down a couple of things, but I'm feeling optimistic about the Summer with the Masters event 2022. I was so tickled. You guys made my heart smile with how positive your reaction was to the prospect of having another Summer with the Masters, Old Masters event. It was the kind of thing that Jessica and I just really weren't sure, like, is this something that people are going to be into, or are they just going to be happy with it being a one and done? So thank you for the super, super kind words and the enthusiasm and everything. We want to find ways that we can like improve on how we did things last year. Maybe if there are ways to change things up. I don't know that we necessarily just want to like rehash everything that we talked about last year. If you guys have specific topics that you're interested in, please let me know. We are always open to suggestions and feedback, and we really, really want to make it about what you guys would genuinely find enjoyable and helpful. I love that we have shops popping up that offer Old Masters artwork. Not only diamond painting shop, but Jade the Tailor, Jadekins. She has a YouTube channel. Where'd that minder go? Okay, scooch up with me here. She just launched, I think that they're pre-orders of her shop's diamond painting line, and there are a few Old Masters pieces in there. They are very large, but I do find that that is not uncommon when it comes to Old Masters artwork. A lot of artwork from that style and time frame is very detail heavy, and often you really, really need to go bigger so that you get a sense for those details and for the nuance. I feel like more often than not, if you're doing a diamond painting that's based on an Old Masters piece, I feel like about half the time at least that like one dimension of it, either the height or the length or width, is going to be like 100 centimeters. There are some smaller ones out there. I noticed that also Craft Ease has released a few more, and I'm intrigued to see those because I'm sure that they've added some, I'm not sure, actually. I shouldn't say that I'm sure. If they've done those paintings like they do most of their diamond paintings, then there should be some special drills charted in there. And so I'm very curious to see that. And it's really neat to see that there's enough of a demand that like companies are popping up that are offering kits and whatnot in these themes. So I'm very excited. I feel like there's so many different kits that I'm gonna want, but I know that I'm gonna have to try to like pace myself, and I already have a number of kits still in my stash from last year that I need to try to get to this year. I saw that Diamond Dots, I was just browsing Diamond Dots website earlier because I was, when I was pulling out this kit to work on, I was like, let me see what Diamond Dots is up to. So I pulled up their website and was browsing around, and they actually just added several more pieces that I believe actually will also fall under the Old Masters umbrella. So I keep thinking like at some point I would have a lot of fun hosting a dragon themed event, but I don't know when I would ever make that happen. And I'm trying really hard not to overdo it and overcommit myself to things. And I'm afraid that taking on hosting another event just might be too much. I don't know. It's in the back of my brain. The ideal time to do it probably would have been like in the past few months. But I was having a really tough time with my mental health. And coming out of the holidays and stuff, I was just not in any sort of position to make something like that happen. I'm gonna grab a really quick drink of water here. You can probably hear how hoarse my voice is, so give me 1 second here. All right. I'm still fighting this bug. It's really stinking obnoxious. And the kids have started in with it too. Like Connor was like miserable today. No fever, thankfully, but just a really runny nose, not really great on the appetite side of things. Micah, really runny nose. Not awesome on the appetite side of things either. I really thought that I was going to end up taking them to the urgent care this weekend. but we ended up not. But I think I am going to go ahead and call their pediatrician tomorrow. It almost feels like, just as a precaution, I should get them COVID tested, even though Micah had it. Like, he and I both tested positive in January, like mid-January. And then we both recovered, and now we have this, which this could just be, you know, a cold. I guess it could maybe be the flu, but it's weird. I guess it could be allergies. I don't normally get allergies this severe. Like, that's really unusual for me. But, like, I'm waking up in the morning and I'm coughing, and it just feels like there's stuff in my lungs and throat. It's just not pleasant. And the fact that it's been going on for so long just makes me go, what is happening? I've taken rapid tests. I've taken 3 different tests over the past 3 weeks, and every single one of them has been negative. And I know that false negatives are a thing with those rapid tests. But I have a hard, there were different brands and everything, and I just had a really hard time believing that if this is, like, somehow I got reinfected, I just have a hard time believing that that's what this is, because it's, 3 negative tests just seems, yeah. So I just keep thinking, like, we're going to wake up and be feeling better, because it's been going on for a little while, but I don't know, you guys. I guess it could be long, you know what, but I don't know why Connor is doing it unless he had it and was just asymptomatic. Anyway, the things that are going on, I wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for being both kind and vulnerable yourselves in your responses to my WIP and Chat last week, where I talked really candidly about mental health. I'm glad that this is a place where we can feel safe and secure in sharing about what's going on in our lives, you know, the good, the bad, and the pretty darn ugly. So I want to keep maintaining this space in that way. You know, the really stereotypical thing to say, like, it's okay not to be okay. It's, even though people, you know, say it a lot, it's true. One day at a time, those sorts of things. I've had some really good therapy sessions with my therapist lately. I do really like my therapist a lot. We've been able to continue to, like, unpack a lot, and I stand by the whole concept of, like, everyone could probably use therapy, even if we think we have a pretty good feel for, like, what our issues are, what our bad habits and hang-ups are, what our learned problematic behaviors are. There's something about talking it through with someone that has, like, that unbiased perspective, and someone that has the experience and the understanding of it to help you find new and better ways to deal with it and to break those habits. That's just been so immensely helpful for me. I also had a good conversation with her where I was talking through just what some of my own personal struggles are, like in my day-to-day, in my parenting, just in various aspects of my life. And I was describing, like, some different, like, sensory quirks that I've noticed that I have, and things that have been problematic or challenging for me. And she kind of looked at me for a minute. She goes, have you ever been diagnosed with or been, like, assessed for ADHD? And I was like, no, but 2 things. 1, my husband has and is. And I said, I don't think it's ADHD. I have long suspected that I am autistic and undiagnosed. I've shared about this before. I know you guys might be going, hey, you're a broken, yeah, I'm having deja vu, you're a broken record. But as soon as I said that, like, I suspect that I'm autistic, she, like, her face, like, it was like it clicked. It was like a light bulb moment. She's like, oh, I've been seeing her for almost a year now. It's not like this is just my first appointment with her or anything like that. But she just had this moment of like, oh. And we talked about it for a little while. I said, yeah, I'm in my mid 30s now. Or my extended early 30s. And I said 30 years ago, they didn't have the knowledge and the means of diagnosing autism the way that they do now. And even now, girls go... I'm sorry, I was trying to think of a way to, like, use phrasing that includes, like, the trans and non-binary communities as well. So please know that I am including that in this. But girls just go significantly underdiagnosed compared to boys because it can look so incredibly different in girls and boys. And she's nodding, like, it was gratifying because she's nodding along. She's, finishing my sentences for me. So it's like, okay, so my research, my understanding of this is not totally off base. It's not just based on, like, TikTok trends where it's like, oh, everyone has autism. It was like, no, like, the research is there for this sort of thing. And, she agreed that it's very common that, like, my generation now, it's when our kids are getting services, like my kids, being assessed and evaluated for services that they qualify through school or through, like, local regional programs, through, like, federal programs and stuff like that for, like, speech therapy and early intervention. She was saying, like, often, yes, that is when parents are going through that. Often it's in those moments that there are light bulbs because you realize, like, the specific things that are getting noted and flagged for your kids. How often do you go, oh my gosh, this is exactly something that I struggled with and that I did as a child? Or, like, talking to my mom about it. How often, especially with Connor, because, Connor's 6 now, we've been, going through this whole process with him for over 3 years at this point. How often when I've told my mom things about Connor, about, like, yeah, I was looking at his scores and his assessments and everything for this and this and this, and describing to her, like, what came up as red flags, like, what the notes were in his IEP and stuff like that. And just how often my mom would go, Katie, Connor is your mini. Like, you did, like, this is, so much of this is you. And that's when I started to suspect, but I just was so concerned. I was like, I don't want to be like one of those people that, like, a hypochondriac that's like, I want to feel like, I don't know, special, or I want to feel like I have a label or something like that. But a lot of this came about when last summer, where we were going through a lot as a family, that had me doing so much soul searching and intensive therapy, and realizing, like, how my body and my mind literally handle conflict and handle stress, and the way that I responded to things. A lot of that actually cemented for me that I strongly suspect that I'm autistic. And I feel like I don't need necessarily to have, like, some sort of label or diagnoses, but I feel like it's the kind of thing that could be informative or helpful. it could be helpful just in me having a better understanding of like, if I'm in a situation that is highly stressful or triggering in these specific ways, or that is ticking these sensory boxes for me or something, it's like I may need, like actually need a space to level out and regulate. And if nothing else, it informs like, this is why I react the way that I do, and it feels like I don't have any control over it. So as I was chatting with my therapist about this a little bit, and she was kind of confirming and saying a lot of the things that I had wondered or suspected or whatnot. And she had said, she's like, if you like, I can do some digging and I can see, you know, if I can find like a psychiatrist or just someone that specializes in diagnosing autism in adults. It's really tricky to find that right now, again, because there's, I think, a little bit of a lag with it, because once you're an adult, you've learned so many coping mechanisms, and you often become like an expert at masking. And it can feel so ingrained sometimes that it's hard to know, like, well, is this who I am, or is this just a developed coping mechanism or technique? But I feel like that field is always growing. And I feel like I live in an area, like, you know, by living in an area, I mean like Southern California, where there just are a lot of people and a lot of resources and a lot of like forward moving technologies and stuff like that here. I feel like my chances are decent at being able to find someone here if there is someone. So I don't know how far I might go with that, but it would just be really interesting to me to find that out. Not as in like an excuse for behavior. Like, that doesn't mean like, oh, now I can just be a really terrible person and just be like, oh no, it's just because of this. Not at all. Like I said, it's more just to learn more. I've mentioned before, I really, really, really love trying to understand like why people do what they do, like what makes them tick. A lot of that I feel like I can intuit, but I'm a researcher. I love finding out information and just trying to understand, especially when it comes to people. Like, I love trying to figure out and understand what motivates people. And so naturally I'm like, oh sure, like I want to understand more about me. Look how pretty these colors are. This is working up. This will work out quickly. So yeah, that was kind of it's made for an interesting kind of week of introspection, I suppose, or weekend, because that was just at my therapy session this past Friday. My med change seems to be going okay still. Still having a little bit in the way of mood swings and whatnot, but I do think that it is getting a little bit better. Like, I'm kind of working on leveling out a bit. What else did I have? Oh, so fun things that I had going on. So I had a brunch this morning with some girlfriends. Girls that I have known for, well, since we moved out here, really. We met them shortly after we moved out here from Ohio, which was also right after we got married. And joined up with a small group of newlyweds at our church, at the church that we joined right when we moved out here. And we've really stayed friends with that group basically ever since. And between everything going on with the Rona and, you know, this phase of life that we're in at this point where we all have kids, most of them are in that range of like 6 and under, 7 and under. A couple of babies in there, 1 or 2 older kiddos. But it's a little bit harder to swing getting together like in a small group setting anymore. But at least us girls, we do try to go out to brunch every couple months. And it had been a few months between the holidays and, the surges of the Rona in January. So we got to go out to brunch this morning, and it was really, really, really nice. And it's always good to have time with friends. I love brunch food. This came up last week, right? I am obsessed with brunch food, so that made me so happy. But I have a real problem with places that, did I mention this last time too? I get grumpy when places don't offer like a combo of sweet and savory. This came up with my friend Jen, where she looked at what I had ordered, which was this delicious like bananas Foster French toast. She had ordered something savory, like some kind of omelet. She's like, Katie, I always look at what you get, and I always go, I wish I would have ordered the sweet thing. I always consider it, and then I look at the menu and I end up ordering the savory. I was like, yeah, next time we should just go halvesies. Like, I'll get the sweet, you get the savory, but then I'll dump half on your plate, you dump half on mine. She's like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that. So I was like, it's a plan for next time. But it was really fun. And then a few days ago, when I was at the grocery store, I was just doing some shopping, trying to pick out some cereal, and about jumped out of my skin because I heard someone go, Katie! I was telling the story in my Patreon, and they immediately thought, they were like, did someone from the wild recognize you as Diamonds and Washi? I was like, no, it was an actual person that I know. It was an actual good friend. But that was really funny. So I whipped around, and it was one of my very, very, very dear friends. Someone that I haven't really chatted with and stayed in touch with recently because my mental health. It's how I tend to cope with depression is I isolate so hard. I don't respond to texts. I don't respond to phone calls. It's too much for me. And I had been really worried, like, have I sabotaged this friendship? Like, is this person who has reached out and tried to, check on me and stuff, but I haven't responded, like, is she just going to be like, meh? Like, clearly this friendship is one-sided, like, I'm out. But she gave me the warmest hug, and we were just so thrilled to run into each other and chatted for a few minutes, and by a few minutes I mean like 20 minutes. Promptly realized that the frozen stuff in our respective shopping carts was beginning to melt, and said, okay, let's try to meet up soon. And you guys be proud of me. I took the initiative, and I was like, why don't we set a date now? Maybe I don't know, one or both of us was like, let's go ahead and let's set a date now. Because I just knew, I'm like, I don't want this to be a thing where we say we're going to get together and then I drop the ball. I'm like, but if we chat and set a date now, then it's on the calendar. Like, it's that much easier to make it happen. So, I'll be hanging out with her Tuesday. So for you guys, tomorrow morning, I'm just going to pick up some coffee, come over to our house after we get our kids off to school. I think that she'll have her preschooler at home, preschool age kiddo at home, but we'll hang out, and it'll just be really nice to catch up. So I think that may speak to, maybe the effectiveness of this new medication that I've started for depression, that I feel like I'm able to start really repairing and getting back to these in-person friendships again. Yeah, so I'm grateful for that. Definitely grateful for that. But yeah, like I said, it was funny when I mentioned that I have a monthly Patreon live for my Diamonds and Washi tier patrons. Yes, I do have a Patreon. I recommend, if you are interested in joining, do so on the 1st of the month, though, because, like, tomorrow. Because I think that even if you join today, I don't think it would charge you today and on the 1st tomorrow, but just in case. I have a monthly exclusive live in my Patreon. It's really, really, really nice because it's super small and intimate, and it's very candid. Often there's tea spilled. And then the 2 of the 3 tiers get a weekly vlog from me where you get to see lots of behind the scenes, family stuff, craft stuff, and I tend to give like little sneak peeks of things and fun stuff over there as well. So feel free to check it out. But you guys, there's never any obligation. I try not to like bring it up too much over here, but I was entertained and I thought I would bring this topic over a little bit. One of the things that came up was how different creators tend to develop, like, whether they mean to or not, phrases or inflections or other things that like they say all the time. And I had a moment in there because I realized some of the things that I apparently say all the time. And some of them I was aware of because I listen back to my own videos when I'm editing and stuff, but it was just funny to hear from other people like what they thought of as things that I say all the time. And I was like, okay, you're not wrong. One of my favorites though was, you hear this a lot in unboxings where I'm like, stunning. And I felt so embarrassed because I hadn't thought of that one and right off the bat. When someone brought that up, I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, I do say that all the time. And they were like, no, it's cute, we love it. I was like, good, because you can pry, it's stunning. I was like, you can pry that out of my cold dead hands because that's how I say it, and I don't see myself changing it. What color should we do? 16. And there was other stuff, like, apparently I say all this to say all the time. I know I say I'm so excited all the time. I know that I have like, I tend to giggle at like really predictable times as well. And so I'm curious, you guys, if you have specific things, even if it's like inflections and how I say something, again, it's fascinating to me. So let me know if there are things that you associate with me. Ideally things like that are, I don't know, not mean, but I mean, I guess if you want to be mean, you can. I can take it. This also got me thinking a little bit because I'm trying to watch more like YouTube videos from a variety of different creators. You know, there's lots of new creators joining the community and stuff. And I was like, I really want to try to do my part to be supporting them and making them feel welcome and everything. But I was a little bit taken aback because more than once I would watch someone's video and like have to do a double take and be like, I feel like I'm listening to myself. Like, I feel like I'm hearing some of the same phrases, some of the same like mannerisms, even like some of the phrasing that I would use or like how I structure things. And I just thought, you know, of course some of this to an extent is just gonna happen. Like there's only so many ways to like do or say a particular thing, but it was interesting because I can totally tell the difference because there are certain creators that are new to the scene that I feel like have a similar vibe to me, and other people have commented the same. Looking at you, Nurse Rachel and Crafts. But it doesn't even remotely bother me to listen to them because they're very much being their own person. Yeah, by the way, go check out Nurse Rachel and Crafts. I'll link her below. She is so sweet and so soothing to listen to. And yeah, I'm really glad that I discovered her as part of the community. But yeah, so that just kind of made me do a double take, and I had to like step back from watching new videos for weeks. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like I'm going into a weird headspace where I'm like, wait, is this a thing that like really only I do? Like, is it because they watch my videos? I don't know. And then I thought I was being really particularly full of myself, so I just decided, like, okay, I'm not gonna dwell on that, not gonna worry about it. Just gonna move right along, keep doing my thing, keep making videos, and keep trying to keep my voice very much my own. I worried about that a lot, though, especially when I started out and I was trying to find my voice, because there were creators that I really, really, really loved and looked up to and watched, like, all of their content. Like Rachel Ray, Tiny Worlds of Wonder, Miss Coffee, like, people that I'm sure that you guys have heard of. Like, I loved their content. I still do love their content so, so, so much. And it's like I wanted to look up to them and, like, be, I don't know if even inspired by necessarily is the right word, but I didn't want to imitate them. Like, I really wanted to find my own voice, find my own groove. Like, these are the kinds of things that, as far as content goes, as far as, like, just how I present information goes, like, all those sorts of things. I think that's definitely important. Which number was this? Look, this is so staticky. The dryer sheet wants to stick to the edges. Like, these drills are so staticky. Anyway. But yeah, that was funny. Other things that are going on, I was gonna, like, touch base about, like, movies and TV shows and things I'm doing. I took a little break from some of the shows I was watching. I know Love is Blind season 2 is out, and I did watch the first season, but I have to get in the right headspace to watch trashy reality TV. Sometimes I'm totally in the mood for it, but other times I want, like, heartwarming reality TV, like Queer Eye. So I don't know if I'm in that headspace where I want to watch Love is Blind too, but Adam and I watched it's a movie called The Power of the Dog. It has nothing to do with dogs, by the way. It has Benedict Cumberbatch. It's one of those movies that's been nominated for a ton of Oscars. It's a really heavy movie. It's gritty. And I'm quite sure that it is not for everyone. It kind of like, it's kind of like an Oscar bait-y movie, but it was something that I guess I was glad I watched. I like Benedict Cumberbatch a lot as an actor, and it was really intriguing in its own way. But we watched it because we thought, let's try to watch more of, like, the Oscar-nominated movies this year. We used to do that a lot, especially before we had kids. We would actually see all of the Best Picture nominees. Once they were announced, we made sure that we had seen all the Best Picture nominees, like, before the Oscars actually aired. So let's try to get to some of them. After we watched that one, I was like, can we watch a lighter one, like Tick, Tick, Boom next? So I'm really hoping we'll maybe be able to get to Tick, Tick, Boom this week. That's on Netflix, and that one's supposed to be really light and enjoyable. And then I actually went to the movie theater yesterday, and I saw Uncharted, which is based on a video game. It has Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, and that was fun. Adam had seen it with his friend David, and he was like, Katie, you totally enjoy it too. So that's how we do, like, our date on a budget sometimes, is instead of, like, paying a sitter, which thankfully Adam's parents will be living out here soon and we can have them watch the kiddos sometimes. But for the moment, instead of paying a sitter or calling in a favor with a friend, sometimes we'll just both go see the same movie individually, but ideally, like, in the same day. And then we'll talk about it afterwards, because it's not like you're talking, like, in the middle of the movie anyway. If you are talking in the middle of the movie in a movie theater, you're doing it wrong. So don't be that person, please. But yeah, that was a fun movie as well. As far as this week goes, I feel like it's going to be a really full week for videos. I'm sure I'll have my February month in review up at some point. I'll have a sneak peek from Diamond Art Club on Friday. I have a kit coming from Enablers Outpost. They just launched their Generation 3 kits, and this is one of those kits that I had seen them preview as like one of the ones that was on order for their next round of kits, and I was like, I adore that image. I'm absolutely jumping on it when it launches. And I did. So I'm excited for that. I have a pile of packages for a small shop haul that I really need to get to sooner rather than later. Do you guys want to see an individual post review on Valentine Kitty? I finished that earlier today, but part of me is like, I could just loop that in with like my month in review video that'll be going up. Like, is it really redundant to have a separate one? Especially when I have a full week video wise. I also really badly want to do an update video on my cross stitch conversion. A lot of you guys have been asking about that, and I know I've left you hanging. You haven't missed a whole lot because I haven't worked a ton on it. Really since in the past few weeks, so there hasn't been a lot that's been missed. I'll do a post. I want to do a post review on the mystery kit from the most recent one from Diamond Art Club. Don't worry, zero spoilers here. But speaking of spoilers, if I do a post review, do you have any specific ways that like you want me to spoiler tag that? Like, obviously I'm not going to put the image in the thumbnail or anything like that. I'm not going to show anything image wise like until well into the video where, you know, it's not going to accidentally play for you. You know, if you're scrolling through YouTube and the clip comes up, I'm going to take every precaution I can, but if there are specific things that you guys think of that you're like, please do this or this to try to avoid it, I would be more than happy to do so. Also stay tuned because I have a feeling, I don't know if I'll have it ready for next week, but if, oh, I don't even want to say it out loud because I'm so afraid I'll jinx it. There is a chance I may hit a milestone on my channel here this week if things continue as they have been, and I have celebration things planned, things for me to give back. So, and those will happen in my WIP and Chats. So if you've made it to the end of my WIP and Chat, you know, make this a thing that you do in the coming weeks, because I'm gonna have multiple give backs for multiple weeks. So I'm excited for that. I'm gonna be utterly speechless if I hit that milestone. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Otherwise, just as far as, you know, family stuff goes and whatnot, no major plans this week. Adam has filming next weekend for his series that has been in the works for some time. They're going to do some filming next weekend and hopefully use that to springboard into some fundraising for the, like, more of the length of the series. So I'm gonna try to be as helpful as I can for prep for that and whatnot. But yay, otherwise just lots of videos, lots of fun stuff. So if you made it all the way to the end of the video, how do we feel about a fox emoji? That ends up being the emoji of the video fairly often, but I mean, come on, we're working on foxes. Look how much we got done. Look how pretty those colors are. That's not bad at all. I like that a lot. Let me get up to the foxes. They're so stinking cute. How perfect is this minder? Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with me in my WIP and Chat. I always enjoy getting to catch up with you a bit. I'm gonna probably migrate back downstairs here and eat some ice cream because my throat is hurting a little bit from talking, and clearly ice cream is the answer. But I mean, ice cream is the answer to everything, right? Right. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what are the different things I asked for your thoughts on. So I asked if you can think of anything that you're like, this is something that Katie always says and makes me think of her. I just think that would be really entertaining. Feel free to share that. And if you have anything specific that you'd be interested in seeing Jessica and I do videos or talks on for Summer with the Masters, as we're kind of thinking and planning, let me know about that as well. But I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching again. I hope you have a really wonderful start to your week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and yeah, thanks for watching. I will chat with you in the next one. Bye.